25th part of when you fell for a dangerous man and your possessive best friend was obsessed with you. Author point of view. Ava, your mother was gone. Her petals were gone and the valley around you vanished. You were back in that small room where she was kept in the bubble, and now it was also gone. Her soul was set free. Jimin, Shan, yelling your name, he hugged you. Yan, Jimin, she, I killed her, he said in a trance. He stepped back and looked at you from head to toe. Jimin, I was so scared. Yan, I am fine, but you were not. Her touch was still there on your hand. Jimin, let's go out. We need to hurry. He grabbed your hand when you didn't move. Jimin, open the door, Yan. You unlocked the door and Jimin opened it carefully. Holding your hand tightly, he stepped out. Ava was right. It was a war. Jimin, where is Taehyung? Team members and vampires were each other. Jan, Mark, what about him? Jimin, he must be alive somewhere. You screamed when a vampire attacked Jimin, and he punched on his face. To tackle him down, he left your hand and jumped on him. You were standing with one dagger in your hand. One came towards you, and your eyes moved to Jimin, who was now stuck with three of them. You pointed your weapon towards the vampire approaching you. He moved with lightning speed and hit you against the wall, his one hand around your wrist and other around your neck. He did not know who you were, and his grip was getting tighter. You gagged under his hold, but Jimin was now far away. That vampire was now leaning with his mouth open, his sharp fangs on display. Shan, Jimin, you coughed for breath when he was pulled away. You saw Taehyung twisting his. He turned around and you jumped in his arms. Ta, are you okay? His warm hold broke you. Shan, now. He rubbed your back as you were not ready to step back. He was leaving the hall after lifting you up. You pulled your face and looked back at Jimin. Shan, Jimin, we cannot leave him here. Ta, don't worry. He will join us soon. You were sitting with Jimin and treating his wounds while Taehyung was driving. Jimin, I am fine. Shan, you don't look so. Jimin, but now Taehyung. Ta, Mark is unleashed now, as he can never have Ava back. Your moving hand stopped. Jimin looked at you as tears were at the brim of your eyes. Ta, teams are on our side now. They will not harm Yan. Jan, so Jungkook was right. Teams did kill Tess and put it over him. Ta, how do you know? Jan, you people are brutal. Ta, me? What did I do? I never knew before that. Teams killed her. And don't start this Tess chapter now. Jimin, whether it's about Jungkook, Tess or Mark, you people start fighting with each other. Grow up guys. Start staring out. You silently wiped away your tears. And Taehyung's knuckles turned white on steering wheel. Jimin, Jan, how was your meeting with Ava? You told them everything. Jimin gave you his shoulder when you felt weak. Ta, I am sorry, Jan. It's just too much. I hope this ends well and we can live happily. Jan, it's okay. Thanks for saving me earlier. Ta, great. He exclaimed, looking at a huge crowd blocking the road. You spotted Mark leading them. Taehyung stopped the car. Ta, Jan, will stay inside. He stepped out and you frowned at Jimin. Jan, I will come too. Jimin, no Jan, Jan, Jimin. No means no. Stay inside and wait for us. He said strictly and followed out Taehyung. You saw them moving towards Mark, who seemed burning in his own anger. You can feel the tension between them and suffocation built inside the car. A gasp left your lips when two vampires were heading to Jimin. He did not notice them coming. You stepped out of the car. Yan, Jimin, watch out. Both Taehyung and Jimin turned towards you. The vampire speed up and tackled down Jimin. Mark threw a small arrow that placed in Jimin's thigh. When he tried to get free, you screamed and aimed to run, but stopped. When Mark did the same to Jimin's other thigh. And Taehyung was also attacked by vampires. Jimin's screams cut your heart. Mark, come on, step forward, girl. She looked at Taehyung, who was glaring with the look. Why you stepped out. You cautiously took a step and Mark pointed another arrow. Xian, please don't hurt them. Please. Mark gestured you to move. Ta, go back, Xian. You obeyed Mark, and he was now at 2 steps distance. Mark, you killed my wife, Xian. She was already dead. I saved her from the torture. His eyes blazing red. Xian, she was never happy with you. A highly impacted slap made you fall on the road that scratched your face. You saw stars and your ears rang for a few moments. Taehyung violently thrashed a vampire's group. Mark, get up. Pull yourself on your feet. Mark, it's all about power. I had power to keep her to myself, and I did. But you? He grabbed your face and instantly stepped back as an arrow tore through air and perished in his chest. Jade, we are here, brother. Team members were arrived. Grace was also with them. You felt relieved. Jade pounced on them, killing it mercilessly. Taehyung got free and you ran to Jimin. Grace helped you to drag him to the car. Mark jumped in your way. You were holding Jimin with his arm around your neck. Grace stepped up to attack Mark, but was thrown far away by him. Jimin, Shan, run away. He, who was already, was just worried for you. Shan, never. You turned around, away from Mark, and breath caught in your throat. When you saw him, JK, sweetheart, he was standing like a devil, with a smirk on his handsome face and eyes of the darkest shade. Your mind processed lazily, and he, being a storm, hit Jimin in his stomach. He screamed in pain, and his knees hit the road. Jimin lost his hand when Jungkook pulled you away. His lethal hold was near to crush your bones. Jan, leave me. Jungkook was taking you away, but what scared you more was Mark, who was moving towards Jimin. Jan, no, Taehyung. You yelled his name, trying to find him in that crowd. JK, you choose it, Jan, and trust me, you choose the worst. Out of the blue, Jade fell over Jungkook, and you got free. You ran towards Mark, who was pulling out another arrow to hurt Jimin, who was even unable to stand. You loved Taehyung, but Jimin, the place he has in your heart is no less than love. You cannot see him dying when all this was happening because of you, and when he was the most innocent. It was a few seconds flowing in slow motion when Mark raised his hand in the air and you came in between him and Jimin. A sharp arrow tore your flesh and dug deep in your shoulder. It seemed like the time stopped. No voice was heard and nothing moved. Someone yelled your name and you felt immense pain in your shoulder. World started moving and it was noisy. Your body fell back but it didn't hit the road as two warm arms held you. Jimin, Shan. He gathered you in his injured wings. You're mixing with his, but your eyes didn't leave marks, trying to find something. Love, pain, regret. But they were empty. Ta, Jan. He sat down and snatched you from Jimin. He didn't seem in his senses. You looked at him and opened your mouth to say a word, but nothing came out. Ta, what you did, Jan? His eyes were teary, but why your eyes were getting heavier. You blinked them, He was begging you to stay awake. Pain swelled your chest when you saw a shadow spreading over Jungkook. With your blurry vision, you saw him behind Taehyung. Ta, you will be fine, Yan. You will be fine. Gathering all your power, you tried to warn Taehyung, but all in vain. When your eyes gave up, tears left them as darkness was engulfed you. To be continued. It's almost the end. Thanks for watching.